Hi guys, my name's Dave Clausen, and I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about a book that I'm writing. It's titled Motivational Interviewing for Campus Police. And I figured, what better way to do this than to take a little ride along. So picture yourself heading to work first thing in the morning, your daily commute that you've made hundreds, if not thousands of times. You're just on autopilot. You're already thinking about, what do I need to do when I get to work? Who do I need to email? What do I have to get done today? The radio might be on, but it's just noise in the background. You're not really listening to it. And then you happen to glance up and you see a police officer up ahead. So what do? You automatically start to slow down. Just by seeing that police officer, you're going to automatically start thinking about changing your behavior. You don't even have to get pulled over or receive a speeding ticket before you start thinking about it and actually slowing down. So I want to keep this in mind as we talk about college students and their high-risk drinking behavior. So now, college students actually report that being arrested or receiving a citation as one of the worst negative consequences related to drinking. So what that means is there, during the incident with the police officer, their motivation to change their drinking behavior is going to be higher than normal. So now moving forward in the process, it might be 1 or 2 weeks before that student enters the student conduct office for their first meeting. And then during that meeting, the student will be assigned the appropriate sanction. And it might be a week or 2 or maybe even longer until that student enters that sanction. And it might be something like a basics class or a one-on-one basics interview. Either way, there's a large time gap there. So let's say the officer decides to issue a state citation. Well, here where I'm from, when we issue a citation, we give a court date that is a minimum of 30 days out. So that's 30 days before they have to show up in court. Then they have to go through the whole court process. And then they'll be assigned treatment or an appropriate alcohol education course. So there is a very large time gap there. So there are 3 main things that I would like to do with this book. The first being, I want to close that time gap and start the change process much sooner rather than waiting a couple weeks or even a month. The second thing is I want to use motivational interviewing to elicit change talk and strengthen the student's own motivation to change when their motivation is already higher than normal. Then the third thing that I would like to do is consistency. I would like to have motivational interviewing used consistently throughout the student conduct process. They'll receive motivational interviewing out in the field with the police officer. They'll also get it when they enter the student conduct office for the first meeting. They will also use it when they're in their alcohol sanctioning class. Now, this consistency is actually the way corrections is going as well, as probation officers and corrections officers are now starting to be trained in motivational interviewing. That consistency throughout the process is going to help the students move through the stages of change, because we all know change is a process. It doesn't just happen overnight. So, how does motivational interviewing fit into policing? Well, let's first just start with the definition. Motivational interviewing is a collaborative conversation style for strengthening a person's own motivation and commitment to change. You use it for evoking what is already there. You're not trying to install something new or to change their mind and make them want to do something new. It's what they already are thinking about doing. There are 4 main processes for motivational interviewing. The first one being engaging, and then focusing, evoking, and planning. As police officers, we're already trained at interviews and interrogations. We're used to finding holes in a story. We've got a very curious and inquisitive mindset. We ask a lot of questions, right? Yeah. We're already used to asking open-ended questions and using reflective listening. We also use a directive conversation style on a regular basis. So these skills aren't something new to us. They will be the backbone of motivational interviewing. The main difference is that the MI approach really focuses on resolving ambivalence and change talk. So the MI acronym for these skills that we're going to use is OARS: open-ended questions, affirmations, reflections, and summaries. Sound familiar, officers? Yeah, that's what I thought. So when should you use MI, or motivational interviewing? Well, you want to use it when the individual or the student is not highly intoxicated. You've got to be able to have an intelligent conversation with them. Makes sense. You also want to use it when it's a lower level violation. You want to make sure that it fits the crime. And you also can use it when you're out community policing. It doesn't have to be an enforcement situation. There are many times where I was on foot patrol and just having conversations with students in the evening, and alcohol came up. So then we began an MI style conversation. The students were very receptive to this. Motivational interviewing has been around since the early 1980s. It's been researched and it's been tested, thus proving it very effective at fostering long-term behavior change. As policing is going through some major changes currently, what better time to start using a collaborative approach to foster long-term behavior change and overall crime prevention? Motivational interviewing is a natural fit for policing, so what better time to start using MI? Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and stay tuned for the release of the book this July.